People say to not get hung up on the past, but these people have clearly never tried to learn Spanish. Spanish has not one, but several tenses to choose from. You have the past preterite, and sure, that's simple enough, but then there's the imperfect, and the past progressive, and the past perfect? What does all of this even mean? If you're having trouble telling them apart, today we're going to clear up all those doubts through storytelling. Now, regarding past tenses in Spanish, an important thing to realize is that you're not going to learn them just by cramming them from a textbook. Actually, that's true with almost anything, not just Spanish. You need to bring them to life and see how they work in context. And what better way to do this than through storytelling? Storytelling in a new language can be challenging, but a large part of it comes from understanding how to use verbs in the past tense. So let's go through some common scenarios and see the past in action. But first, real quick, let's review some past tenses in Spanish you will use for storytelling. This is like your toolbox. And just a tip, if you are not at least a little familiar with these tenses, this video might get a little lost on you. Just a warning. There's the preterite, for example, comí, which is used for completed actions, like I did this. No tengo hambre, comí afuera. The imperfect, for example, comía, which you use for continual or incompleted actions in the past, like I used to do this or I was doing this. Comía mariscos todo el tiempo cuando viví en Acapulco. And another way you can express an incomplete action or a past action in progress is the past progressive. For example, estaba comiendo, I was eating. Estaba comiendo cuando me llegó la noticia. And this last one's a bit more advanced, the past perfect. For example, había comido, for actions that happened before another action in the past. I had done this. Para cuando él llegó, ya yo me había comido todos los patacones. So let's see how this looks in a short story. I'm gonna tell you about the time I got locked out of my car. I want you to try and jot down at least 2 different past tenses that I use and where they show up. Ayer, cuando llegué al supermercado, me bajaba de mi carro. Me estaba apurando porque tenía que volver a casa. Y sin pensar, cerré la puerta. Así nomás. Fue entonces que me di cuenta de que había dejado las llaves adentro. Y así fue como me quedé bloqueada fuera de mi carro. Ok, let's see if you were paying attention. Ayer cuando llegué al supermercado, me bajaba de mi carro. Me estaba apurando porque tenía que volver a casa. Y sin pensar, cerré la puerta. Así nomás. Fue entonces que me di cuenta de que había dejado las llaves adentro. Y así fue como me quedé bloqueada fuera de mi carro. So, do you see now how all these tenses work together? When I was giving background describing the scene, I used more of the imperfect and the past progressive. Me bajaba, me estaba apurando. And when I was describing concrete actions in the past, I used the preterite more. Llegué al supermercado, cerré la puerta. If you didn't get it, don't worry. Let's try another story. I'm gonna tell you about the time that I ran into an old friend. But this time, try to notice where I used the past perfect. Ayer estaba haciendo fila en el banco y de repente vi a un viejo amigo que no había visto desde la secundaria. Nosotros éramos muy cercanos. Al principio casi no nos reconocimos. Did you catch it? The past perfect was no había visto. Un viejo amigo que no había visto desde la secundaria. An old friend that I hadn't seen since high school. These simple scenarios are great ways to understand how and why we use the Spanish past tenses. If you want to practice listening comprehension through stories, head over to the Jiveworld app. There, you can listen to our stories in real, everyday Spanish from all over Latin America. You can also try out our sound bites for fun tidbits on idioms, vocabulary, and more. Now it's your turn. I would love for you to tell a short story in the comments using any of the tenses we practiced. And don't worry about making mistakes, it's all part of the learning process. Happy storytelling and stay Jiveworld fluent. Nos vemos en el próximo video.